I told you all we were going to go back to the past. Samurai Jack. Samurai Jack first premiered in August 10, 2001. This was a story of a young samurai being sent into the destroyed future by Aku, the shape-shifting demonic devil thing. I don't know what he is to this day. Anyways, the future is in the palm of Aku because he took over while Samurai Jack was flying through time. Now he has to go back and fix the past that Aku had destroyed. Which, when you think about it, if he goes back in time to fix the past, that won't really change the future because the future had already happened. So going back in time won't change the future that's already messed up, but that's a video for another time. Well, maybe not, because I kind of just summed up the whole video, so the only thing I could do is make a long video that gets to the same point, but that's not why we're here. We're here to find out how strong our Time Warrior is. Welcome to the Outside series, where I go through and overanalyze everything and add it to a list of feats for a specific character to see how strong they are in their respective franchise. Now, Kaleb, how exactly are we going to go over this? Well, to see how strong is something is way more than just strength alone. You have to account things like strength, speed, and durability. So when showing you guys the feats, I'll give you context so you'll be able to understand why he's able to do that, because some feats are actually having the episode circulate around them. If the feat doesn't have any reasoning behind it, then he's always been able to do it. But now, let's get into this. For strength, let's start off with episode 11 of season 1, Jack and the Scotsman. With what had actually looked like a squat jump, he had jumped at least, I'd say, more than 10 feet. This isn't actually a train jump, meaning he hasn't trained with his jumping yet in the show. This is actually how high Jack could just jump. Nothing enhanced whatsoever. And he has 5+ feet on the highest vertical jump in history. Also, Jack states that the force from the sword and the jump should have destroyed any sword. We had also seen him cut through metal before this episode, so regular metal obviously isn't a difficult thing against him. The reason why the sword itself wasn't destroyed is because the Scotsman's sword had the Celtic magic. Also in that same episode, with the combined jumping power of the Scotsman and Jack, they jumped around 20 feet plus twice. So that was before Jack had trained his jumping. Now we're getting into episode 1 of season 2. In this episode, Jack trades training of self-defense for training of his jumping skill. He undergoes training by this monkey man in his tribe, and I can tell you that the training regimen is a pretty difficult one. Alright, so right off the bat, he lifts a boulder that was obviously supposed to crush him, but he had not because, Toon Forces. I estimated this boulder to be about 13.125 tons, or 26,250 pounds. It also gets to the point of where he just does this with no effort, carrying more than just 13 tons and jumps around like it's nothing. Well, after undergoing the training, Jack has his head in the clouds, literally. He jumps from the ground to the top of these trees that are almost touching the clouds. Clouds are generally 3 miles from the ground, so I really want to take not his jumping height into account, but how tall are these trees. It didn't look like he was jumping with as much effort as he did from ground to the top of the trees, so let's say that the trees are around 3,000 meters tall and he's jumping around 1.6 thousand with ease at the top. But regardless, to jump to around those trees would still be about 3,000 meters, which is still a ridiculous height. Now for episode 4 of season 2, Jack throws an alien over the shoulder using a technique commonly used in judo. Now, throwing over the shoulder is way easier than lifting the opponent and throwing them. You're using your back as a pivot point, so lifting larger people wouldn't be as difficult. But over the shoulder throws are generally supposed to throw the opponent on the ground in front of you, and Jack threw the alien across the room. Jack uses the same throw style when throwing a Scotsman. Reason for this is because he couldn't throw a stone, he could barely lift, but he knew he could use the throw technique on the Scotsman. The Scotsman had said he'd weighed around 40 stones, so by that logic it sounded like he was about 40 of the stones that Jack was struggling with. But actually he meant he weighed 40 stones as in stones, the weight unit. Stone is a weight unit commonly used in Ireland, and it's 14 pounds for 1 stone, which converting 40 stone is about 280 pounds. You would think that this guy would weigh more than 280 pounds. These are like juggernauts compared to football players, but there are a lot of football players more than 280 pounds. Now onto speed, and I know it didn't seem much for strength, but this is actually going to be circulating around season 1 and 2. I'm going to be making a part 2 of going over season 3 and 4. I would go on 5, but man, I'm just really enjoying it right now, to be honest. And also, it's not finished. Going back to episode 11 of season 1, we go to the clash between the Scotsman and Samurai Jack. I was wondering exactly how fast Samurai Jack was swinging his sword and how fast the Scotsman was counterattacking, so I had ended up working on how exactly it worked with the distance and time it took with each slash. It ended up to be about 123 miles per hour for each slash when it came to these metal clinging moments in this episode. Now again, for episode 4, season 2, I thought it was pretty funny that he dipped so fast that he left his food suspended in air, but to run away so fast that the gravity doesn't have enough time to react to what just happened, that's just crazy. Now, later on in the show, when rescuing the Scotsman's wife, you have this all-out brawl, which was Jack, the Scotsman, versus a ridiculous amount of robots. The range of the slashes didn't really change much from my original calc, so I'm still supporting that his average range of each slash is 123 miles per hour. Now for episode 5, season 2, now there have been previous episodes where Jack has outran bullets before, but I'm highlighting this moment in specific. I'd also like to say that outrunning tracking of bullets doesn't mean that you're faster than bullets, but it means that you're either faster than whoever's shooting's reactions or they just can't aim. But in this video, these robots were specifically engineered to counterattack Jack, and for a majority of the episode, they really did. You have Jack outrunning and dodging the tracking of these robots, and he gets away, but he does get beaten up for a bit. Then he still ends up getting away again. And to finish up speed, episode 9, season 2, Aku had hired the best hunters in the galaxy to track down Jack. When being pushed to the edge, all of his friends are dead. I've been listening to a lot of music lately, my bad. I meant to say, while being pushed to the edge, one of the hunters, you can call them the Imikandi, shoots an arrow which are generally get to about 200 miles per hour, and this is pretty close, and I'm not really sure what is exactly considered point blank, but I say that's pretty close to it, if it's not exactly point blank. Now, for durability, this is all Toon Force, I can tell you that. I'm going to be fully honest with you guys. I was massively confused with Jack getting hurt because I didn't think that it was possible. Let me show you why. We went over the episode, but episode 1 of season 2, he survives a 26,000 pound boulder just falling on him. That much weight could crush so many people, but when it comes to Jack alone, nah, that's just a really big backpack. In episode 3 of season 2, you have Jack in this type of Mad Max type of territory fighting to live. After beating a few people, they put Jack against Sumoto, who I quote to be 700 tons. That's 14 million pounds if my conversion isn't broken. Now, along with being 14 million pounds, he's also 4 times taller than Jack, and he jumps around like, 50 feet into the air? And then directly falls onto Jack because Jack is tired of fighting them because he thinks it's the wrong thing to do? Yeah, you're not killing Jack with a crushing force, I can tell you that. Not sure about how Jack now, but before Jack was very intertwined with the Toon Force. But now, for the last episode to go over, episode 7 of season 2. So Jack had questioned his efforts on the whole going back to the past. Samurai Jack. Damn it. Okay, sorry, never mind that. But basically, in this episode, he wants to reach the top of the mountain to receive power that he had believed to be up there. Turns out that power was his will all along, but this is what happened to him to reach the top. Well, there's the Abominable Snowman, and you would think that he's a pretty cool guy, but then no. So you have this rock and face scraping, the cold of the mountain, which he should have freezed over, definitely, and just died, and then being crushed again. But he survived 700 tons, so it doesn't really matter when you have something so small compared to that. There's not a lot you could do to Jack in earlier seasons. He's a Toon Force to be reckoned with. He could defeat almost anyone, just never Aku, because, you know, he always runs away in the episode and is always like, "I'll be back again, samurai, you'll see." Thank you guys for watching. Part 2 will be up on later. I don't want to give an exact date because anything can happen to where I don't end up posting it on that day. I would also like if you guys use the Amazon link in the description, and it supports me with no extra cost to you and what you were originally buying already. And thank you again as a whole. Samurai Jack, love the show, loved it since I was a kid. I just wanted to add this video on because I really love season 5, and I love the take on it. I would actually love to make videos on it furthermore if you guys did like this one. But until the next one, so peace out and Godspeed.